Let me talk.
That's why more and more Lagosians are tuning in.
500,000 Lagosians.
720,000.
970,000.
Over 1 million Lagosians, they know that if you give me your afternoon, I will give you hard facts.
Well done, Sandra, on all you do, going beyond the headlines and focusing on the facts.
I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
First hard fact of the day, 674 new COVID confirmations yesterday. Yesterday's Lagos number was 355. River State is number 2 again, but this time, thankfully for them, the number dropped back down to 2 digits. They have 87 cases. So please take your precautions, limit your movement outside, wear a mask and give gap, wash and sanitize your hands as frequently as possible. And hey, now you can go and get vaccinated. You heard on our 3 p.m. news bulletin that vaccines have reached Lagos, and we've kicked off vaccinations, the second phase in Lagos. So from Monday, if you can still try and go today, that's fine. But from Monday, getting to the nearest health center and get vaccinated. I beg. Second hard fact of the day, voter registration is still ongoing. Go to cvr.inecnigeria.org to get registered today. That's CVR as in Charlie Victor River. ORG as in Orange River Golf. Maybe I should make up one of those songs that White Money makes up, so that you can remember the letters, the right letters now. 1 million cannot be listed to show you about the big 3 global edition. Let's talk about the UAE exclude Nigerians. Then let's talk about the collapse of the Afghan military and government in the face of the advancing Taliban. I don't know why I pronounce that thing as Afghan. It's Afghan. Maybe I want to eat afang soup. I don't know. But then we're also going to talk about the U.S. pullout from Afghanistan and the criticism that it wasn't properly organized to protect its allies in the country. I'm sure you've been paying attention to what's happening in Afghanistan. The whole world is paying attention to what's happening in Afghanistan. And we're going to talk about it and see if there are lessons for Nigeria. At 4 o'clock, we'll bring you Public Square with Agogo. And then at 6 o'clock, we'll bring you music and moments with Ifeanyi and Sam. You know the drill by now. We have news updates every hour on the hour. But right now, let's get started with the Big 3 Global Edition. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
The Big 3 Global Edition on Hard Facts.
Is Nigeria not obtaining visa on arrival status in the UAE a good thing? Is it a good thing that Nigerians cannot get visa on arrival in the UAE? Why has the Afghan Army folded? And has the US pullout been a disaster? This is the Big 3 Global Edition. Let's get into the stories. As you know, on Fridays, we let Nigeria rest, right? And we take a look at global stories. We take a look at some of the biggest stories all over the world, even though sometimes the big stories are still Nigerian stories or they affect Nigeria somehow. Take a look at our first story, for instance. The UAE is now extending visa on arrival to citizens of 71 countries. But Nigeria isn't one of them. That's our first story. Usually to enter a country, you need a visa. But some countries make the process easier to encourage tourists and investors. So they have this visa on arrival system where you don't apply for visa before you travel, but when you land at the airport or you arrive at the border, they check your papers, they find out what you're coming for, and they grant you the visa on the spot. Visa on arrival. As you can imagine, it's something that people like. I don't know, everybody likes it. Everybody. I was going to give examples, but I think everybody likes it. So governments negotiate with each other to secure visa on arrival for their citizens. That's why you hear about things like reciprocity, right? Where if country A gives visa on arrival to people from country B, then country B will do the same thing for people from country A. And that brings us to the UAE. They are a big destination for tourism and for business. One of my favorite countries in the world. So as you can imagine, lots of countries lobby to get a UAE visa on arrival for their people. And now there are 71 countries who have gotten it. But Nigeria isn't one of them. And lots of Nigerians have been talking about this online, and they've mostly been disappointed. Because Nigerians go to Dubai a lot. But now we've heard from Folarin Koka. Folarin Koka is the head of the Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation. And he says it's a good thing that UAE excluded Nigeria. He said, quote, "If Dubai Emirates Airline is not coming to Nigeria, Nigerians will not pack their naira, change it into dollars to go and buy tickets. We pay a foreign airline to go to a foreign country and stay in a foreign hotel. The naira is 510 naira to $1. Let Nigerians stay at home and learn to appreciate the country." End quote. He also talked about COVID-19, and he said that it's been good for tourism in Nigeria. Koka said, quote, "There are no foreign holidays now. We're all going to enjoy our local music, film, food, fashion, theater, and dance. I think COVID-19 has done the Nigerian tourism industry good." End quote. Now, perhaps we should point out that one aspect of tourism that COVID-19 may have not stopped is medical tourism. I mean, we still have some top politicians and senior government officials going abroad for medical checkups and treatment. But let's not point that out. I really want to know how you feel about Folarin's opinions. Do you think it's a good thing that Nigerians cannot get visa on arrival to the UAE? Now, before you call me to give me your answer, let me give you some context. In global tourism and in international relations, there's a concept called passport power. We often talk about which countries have the most powerful passports, and we measure passport power by counting how many countries I can go to on my passport without a visa. How many countries will open their borders to me with no visa because of the country I come from? So in most other countries, if the tourism board hears that the passport power has dropped, they see it as a big problem. And in fact, passport power is seen as an indicator of a country's development and of the diplomatic relevance of its government. I have some more context for you. Let me give you more context. What do Nigerians travel to Dubai to do? Some travel for fun. Some travel for business. Some travel to buy things to sell here in Nigeria. And now the NTDC boss is basically saying that all those reasons for traveling to Dubai are not good. So let's think about the business travelers, for example. These are people adding value to the local economy. If there were visa on arrival, more business people could travel. It would be easier and more convenient. But the need to apply for visas ahead of time is creating a bottleneck for them. Is this something that should be celebrated? I don't want to think for you. I'm just laying out all the arguments and then you make up your mind. And then there's Folarin's point about COVID. He said COVID has boosted local tourism. First of all, do you agree? Second of all, do you think that the people who normally travel abroad for tourism have been traveling within Nigeria during COVID? And third of all, what do you think will happen when COVID is defeated? Do you think people will still refuse to travel? Let me ask that question in a different way. Has the Nigerian Tourism Corporation, the Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation, actually taking steps to improve Nigerian tourism? Or are they simply relying on COVID to keep people captive? Women, call me on 01465 7190. Men, call me on 0700 993 993 993. We've got WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 080 959 75805. 080 959 75805. You're listening to the Big Three Global Edition. We're starting with our first story where the UAE has now extended visa on arrival to citizens of 71 countries, but Nigeria is not one of them. 99.3, hello. Thank you for calling us.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, sir?
Oh, this is a calling from Odogbolo, Ogun State.
Eze, welcome.
Yes, you see, this is our country. No, everybody is regarding us as a terrorist now. So all those things will be happening, including the America we are running into, all the other countries, the big countries.
I don't think that's accurate. I don't think anybody thinks that we are terrorists.
That's what I feel like. So
okay.
Because the bad news every day, all the things that are happening, nobody's making any move to stop anything. They just feel as it is usual, normal thing that is happening to Nigerians. So they now regard us as a terrorist. So anything can happen. US will soon stop us. The Britain will soon stop us. All other countries will soon stop us. Even Benin Republic here, they will soon stop us not to cross to their country. So I don't know.
That's a bit alarmist, but okay. Azubike is Shodi. Azubike, welcome.
It's Excellency President Sandra.
Good to have you on the show.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
For picking my call.
Thank you.
Coming to this issue that you brought on this afternoon, I don't think in Nigeria we are now ready to develop our terrorism center, because the type of leaders that we have, they are not ready to help matters. And the type of news also we are listening that we are bringing in every day by day is getting us worried and getting us out of hand. And every news that we bring on in this country, the foreign country, they also listen to it. Likewise, the former governor of Abia State that were arrested in an international airport by money laundering that him and his son got by EFCC. So that kind of country cannot see such a people by coming from one place to come and invest in their place, or to come and hide themselves in their place, and they will grant us that visa. Because the bad news that we are bringing on every day by day in this country is too much. So this is the right time. The EFCC, all the security agencies should be alert to the checkmating all those corrupt leaders that is bringing bad men to this country, to stop them, not to be grabbing out, because they have painted us black and blue in the international committee. So that is why other countries, they not grant us that visa or passport of a thing, because our image has already condemned by our leaders. So that's what I can be able to say in this conversation.
All right. Thank you, Azubike, for calling to share it. 99.3, hello.
Hello, Sandra. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. What's your name?
Yeah, I'm Benjamin. I'm calling from Italy.
Good to have you on the show, Benjamin. Go ahead.
Yes, Sandra. You see, we as citizens, we don't have issues. We don't have issues as citizens.
Okay.
But when it comes to the issue of this restriction and in terms of traveling airports, in terms of economic situation, in terms of marketing issues, rising of uproar, all kinds of public issues, it is the system. We have leaders who are not ready to be responsible to their citizens.
Okay.
Imagine a country like Nigeria, where we have people who we trusted wholeheartedly, that they will take us to the promised, which they have promised us. Politically, they are not doing the right thing. And that is the reason why we remain where we remain today. Sandra, if you ask me, talking about this issue of people, this restriction order of traveling and other people who are going outside country, going to buy things in
Well,
Dubai.
there's no restriction order. We're just not going to get visa on arrival. We have to apply the way that we used to apply.
Yes, but this is an issue coming up, and very soon it's going to affect us as a nation, where other countries will start rejecting. Look at South Africa. Nigeria is nowhere to be found in South Africa. They kept.
Oh, Benjamin, thank you for calling. Sorry about that. If you can, please call us back. If you just joined the show, hello to you. I told you that Nigeria is not one of the countries that the UAE has extended visa on arrival to. Usually when you enter a country, you need a visa, but some countries make the process easier so that they can encourage tourists and investors. So Nigeria, for instance, offers a visa on arrival to some countries as well. Right. But the UAE, which is a big destination for tourism and for business, says that 71 more countries can get visa on arrival in the UAE. But Nigeria isn't one of those countries. And when this story broke this week, lots of Nigerians had something to say about it, which made the head of the Nigeria Tourism Development Corporation say something. And he said that it's a good thing that the UAE has excluded Nigeria. He said, quote, if Dubai Emirate Airline is not coming to Nigeria, Nigerians will not pack their naira, change it into dollars to go and buy tickets. We pay a foreign airline to go to a foreign country and stay in a foreign hotel. The naira is 510 to $1. Let Nigerians stay at home and learn to appreciate the country. He also said that COVID-19 has been good for tourism in Nigeria. He said there are no foreign holidays now. We're all going to enjoy our local music, our local film, our local food, our fashion, theater and dance. And he just talked a lot about this situation and basically said that Nigerians should see this as a positive. Now, when I introduced this story, I told you about passport power, right? And I told you about reciprocity, right? I told you that passport power, when we talk about it, we are often referring to countries that have the most powerful passports. And the way to measure passport power is often by how many countries you can go to on your passport without a visa. How many countries will open their borders to you with no visa because of the country that you are from. Right? So for some countries, when they hear that their passport power has dropped, it's a big problem. It's a big problem for some people. Is it a problem for you as a Nigerian? And then you come to the comment that Folarin Koka made about COVID. And he said COVID has boosted local tourism. Do you agree? Do you think people who normally travel abroad for tourism have been traveling within Nigeria during COVID? What do you think will happen when COVID is defeated? That's what we're talking about on the show to you. So over to you, Lagos. Let's talk. 0700-993-993-993 01465-7190. Still to come, we'll talk about what's happening in Afghanistan, but right now, let's talk to you. On Facebook, Prince Leo Ozemena says, President Sandra, what baffles me a lot is that anytime we're slammed because of the maladministration by the government, instead of our government officials to work hard to change for good, they'll rather begin to defend themselves, therefore bringing more ridicule to the nation. We don't care how much some of these actions affect us as a people. We don't care how it affects our economy, and we don't care how it affects our employment rates. Leo Ozemena with that message on Facebook. Also on Facebook, Ogochukwu Tony says, what if someone applies for the visa and they deny it? Will they refund the visa fee back to the applicant? No, they do not refund your visa fee. Some countries do, but a lot of countries don't refund the visa fee. Joy in Abulegba is on the line. Hi, Joy.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Good to have you on the show.
Okay, so based on the new, what the UAE just put out, yes, it's going to only affect the poor masses. Okay. And the upcoming business people. Okay. Now, for our politicians and the big wigs in the business industry, this does not affect them because already they have some goodwill with such countries.
Okay.
And it's quite unfortunate that our leaders do not actually do things that will, positively affect their citizens, that will make things easier for them to access. Now, for what the Folarin man, I don't know who he is. Is it the
Folarin
government?
Koka, yes, he's in the government. He's the DG of he's the head of the Nigeria Tourism Development Corporation.
Now, if you check, I don't know if he has any innovation he has done since this COVID-19. And moreover, we are still in COVID. So for him to say, that people are traveling for tourists in Nigeria, I really do not want to believe that because almost everybody is, his or her houses in order to prevent the spread of COVID. So for him saying this, he shouldn't be saying this now. It should be after COVID that he can make such kind of claims. So I don't know if they've gotten any innovation. To the best of my knowledge, I've not heard of anything they have done.
Okay.
As improvements in our tourist center. And in fact, our government, I don't know if they're anti-people. Are they supposed to be rejoicing with this guy? It's a big shame. It's a blow with the fact that Nigerians are one of the people that go to Dubai for businesses. People do not just go there for other things. But they don't see a way in order for them to redeem our image and also perfect or, improve our diplomatic ties with other countries. It's quite a big shame. I don't know. Every time I just pray, once it's time for me to move out of this country, I'll move out without even looking back.
Joy Inegbeda, thank you so much for calling us. Yomi Williams says, I think the decision reached by the UAE on Nigeria stemmed from two angles, from the government and the citizens. The government is not doing enough in projecting the foreign policy of the country. It appears we have no strategy in this regard. On the other hand, the citizens, it's no news that some Nigerians are in the UAE for wrong reasons. Hush puppy comes to mind here. We also have heard issues of cultist activities. Going by the statement credited to Folarin Koka, I think we need to ask him about the impact of insecurity on internal tourism. Is there any verifiable evidence to support his rather political statement? Yomi Williams with that question there. All right, Lagos, we'll take a break. When we come back, let's take a trip to Afghanistan. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili.
Where will you be when we open the next chapter in Nigeria's marketing history? Where will you be?
Omnibiz go deliver your goods to your shop fast. Just go their website shop.omnibiz.com or download the app. You fit even call them on 0700 005 5555. Omnibiz, online market for your store.
The most common drug that damages the liver is paracetamol, what we call acetaminophen.
Are you interested in health? Then join Dr. Fred on the Health and Safety Cafe every Friday, 2:30 p.m. It's time to talk about health on your number one station for talk, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Everybody needs a little help every now and then. Sometimes it's sugar or salt, or an extra hand to change a flat tire, or a small loan. At Kuda Microfinance Bank, we believe that your bank should do more than just store your money. We want to do more for you. So when you use your Kuda accounts to pay bills, buy airtime, and make transfers regularly, we'll offer you an overdraft, which is a low-interest loan that you can take anytime you need it. No long talk, no collateral, no paperwork involved. Just download Kuda on the Play Store or the App Store, open a Kuda account, and use it regularly to qualify for a Kuda overdraft. Kuda, free banking for you.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
It's 3:30. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. This is the Big Three Global Edition. Before I take you to Afghanistan, let me say to all Yoruba indigenous practitioners who are listening to the show, happy Isheshe Day. We talked about it yesterday on the Big Hard Fact, and we do hope that you have a fantastic celebration. But yes, Afghanistan is still the biggest story in the world, so it's our second and third story today. For our second story, let's look at the seeming lack of resistance to the Taliban now that the U.S. military has withdrawn. America spent the last 20 years propping up the government in Kabul and preparing the Afghan army for the day that it would have to face the Taliban alone. That day has now come, but the Afghan army is collapsing like a house of cards. And the big question is why? On paper, the Afghan army has 500,000 men. They outnumber the Taliban 3-1. The Afghan army had superior weapons. They had weapons and equipment supplied directly by the Americans. So M16 assault rifles, attack drones, Humvees, Super Tucanos. They had so many things that the Taliban could only dream of. I say had, because the Taliban have taken a lot of this equipment for themselves now. The Afghan army simply abandoned their weapons and vehicles as they retreated. If you're watching our Facebook stream right now, we're showing you some footage from Afghanistan. Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3. YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. We've been seeing lots of pictures and videos online showing the Taliban with all these supplies. The Afghan army arguably had superior training, because the U.S. military has been teaching them conventional warfare and counterinsurgency. And yet, after all this, the Taliban took the country from the Afghan army in days. How? All around the world, the security analysts are trying to figure out what's happening. All the political commentators have been trying to answer that question. And so I'm going to talk to you about some of their suggestions, and you let me know what you think. The first suggestion is collusion. We've seen the Taliban strike deals with some political leaders of the legitimate Afghan government. For example, the Taliban told the mayor of Kabul to retain his post as long as he cooperated. That's why many analysts think that the same thing may have been happening within the Afghan military. Basically, top military leaders may be striking deals with the Taliban and therefore ordering their soldiers not to fight. There's also a feeling that many people in the Afghan army may actually sympathize with the Taliban. They may agree with their ideology. So that's the first suggestion from all the political commentators and the security analysts. The second suggestion is coercion. A lot of veteran reporters of the Afghan war are saying that the Taliban have very strong intel about most of the soldiers in the Afghan army. They know their names, they know their villages, they know who their family members are. So the theory is that the Taliban are reaching out to these soldiers and threatening to kill their families if they don't play ball. And the third suggestion is corruption. Remember, I said that the Afghan army has 500,000 men. Well, some analysts say that that's probably a lie. They say that the Afghan army is probably much smaller than that. They think that the government has been inflating the numbers to justify the money that they got from the Americans. So ghost soldiers. Maybe the Americans should have borrowed IPPIS from Nigeria to make sure only real soldiers were being paid. And the corruption doesn't end there, allegedly. We're hearing reports of army officers diverting soldiers' pay. We also hear about lots of abuses within the army. So there's a question about whether the corruption also affected the soldiers' morale and commitment. So these are the suggestions that we've heard. 3 R's: collusion, coercion, and corruption. Those are the 3 suggestions. And most analysts say it's probably a combination of all 3 in different amounts. And I'm sure that you have your own opinion about that. And I want to hear it. But I also want you to tell me what you think about the Americans and the Afghan government's plan. What do you think they could have done differently to checkmate these 3 factors? And then I want you to also help me bring this home to Nigeria, because we are fighting our own insurgency. And of course, we want to win, right? But we're definitely dealing with all the 3 factors. We're dealing with corruption, which limits the military's response, and we're dealing with coercion. We've heard of insurgents and bandits threatening people who don't cooperate with them. We're also dealing with collusion, because some state governments recently suspended traditional rulers for cooperating with insurgents. A handful of soldiers have been arrested for diverting arms and money. And we want to get rid of all 3. We don't want Nigeria to become Afghanistan. We want to defeat our own insurgency, right? How do we do it? Talk to me, Lagos. How should Nigeria checkmate collusion, coercion, and corruption in our counterinsurgency? And what do you think about the Afghan army's collapse? 0700-993-993-993 01465-7190. And yes, you can get in touch via WhatsApp 080-959-75805. And yes, please go ahead and talk about the first story if you prefer to talk about the first story. We've got Malik in Ikate up first. Hi, Malik. Thank you for calling us.
Sandra, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're talking about the Afghanistan, right?
Yes.
The only difference between Afghanistan and Nigeria is that we are still one.
Okay.
The same allegation of corruption in the military, the same thing happens to Nigerian military here. You've heard about the troops trying to fire their commandants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you? In Nigeria here?
Yes.
You heard about troops selling arms to so-called Boko Haram, allegedly.
Allegedly. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I heard about the military being corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Have you not heard that?
Yes.
So the only difference we have, we are still one. And again, the American refused to respond to Nigeria that we don't have human rights. What did they do now in Afghanistan? Leaving those certificated weapons for Taliban to carry to do what? Is not terrorists again? At the first place, you were going to Afghanistan. So-called you want to go and cleanse the government. You now left them with shame and problems. Then tomorrow, you see, are coming to help another country. Who will believe? Same America made Iraq to be worst. Same America made Libya to be something else. Most people prefer the former president Gaddafi to be alive than what they are seeing now, apart from the rebel group. So, but this is a lesson to we in Nigeria. Then you talked about Dubai not giving us visa or not putting them on the
visa on arrival.
We should ask this question: who came to ask for help? In the 60s or 70s, same country. Who progressed? Same country. Where are we? When they said, Olodo Labata, Ojoja no Maje. Thank you very much, Sandra.
Thank you, Malik, for calling. 99.3, hello.
Yes, Sandra.
Thanks for calling. I greet you too. What's your name, sir?
Yes, my name is Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. Welcome.
Yes, the 3 R's you outlined cannot be discontinuous in terms of fighting insurgency and terrorism. But I've stated on this platform that In times like this, you do homegrown solutions. You don't go out to seek for foreign help. I've stated it countless times on this platform. Listening to Joe Biden the other day, I just chuckled, telling us that they spend trillions of dollars. Who were the people that were having those contracts? They were American defense contractors. The money was simply going back to the economy. This country is a country of interest. They are not there for anybody. So the Afghan people shot themselves on the foot by allowing and bringing in foreign intervention. It's a complete progression in error. And I don't know when that country is going to be settled because terrorists have taken over the reins of that country. Talking about your first story, in this same country, nobody begged for visa to go to UK until 1986 when that man that saw celebrated birthday changed the whole thing. We went to UK on arrival to give you a visa. Nobody went to the church to go and give testimony that I got visa to UK.
Right.
All of a sudden, everything changed. And this was a country we impacted in the late 70s, in the first time coming of Obasanjo. What happened along the line? So it has to do with leadership and followership. I'm not happy that they're being used left and right everywhere. When countries like Singapore, if you take Singapore passport, one of the most respected passports across the globe.
Right.
What has happened to us? So it's a shame. We should go back to ourselves and put ourselves, and it can happen as long as we have the right leadership and the focused followership. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, for calling us. We'll take another call and then we'll go to social media for comments. 99.3, hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
My name is Victor from VI.
Welcome, Victor. Oh, Victor, how far with your car?
No, I'm not that Victor.
Not that Victor. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
All right. I want to talk about the first story.
Okay.
Okay. Giving us visa on arrival, I don't think they should even make it more difficult for us to get that visa. They should make it more difficult for us to get that visa because what the middle class does is to fly out of the country whenever there is one problem or the other, instead of sitting back to help so that we can build this country and put it where it's supposed to be. So I think, why are we crying foul? They should make it more difficult for us to get even Benin Republic visa so that we can sit down, tell ourselves the truth, and fight that what is it called? This fight that will make Nigeria better. Because when you keep on giving them visa, they'll be flying out. They will say, go come here. What's happened? My family is out. I am out. Even the leaders, they will fly out with their private jet, and the common man is suffering. And they will come back to inflict more suffering on the common man. So they should even make it more difficult for anybody, even the president, to go. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, thankfully, we don't need visa to go to Benin Republic. We just need passport because Benin is part of ECOWAS countries. But let me go to WhatsApp very quickly. Sandra, America has not won a war outside American soil. Never let anyone deceive you. Take Libya, Egypt, Palestine, and others as an example. Western nations are just too selfish and greedy. That's Mark Chimere from Victoria Island with that message on WhatsApp. The Afghan Army fall is a big lesson for any country that wishes to grow a strong army for a great nation. In this, it is evident that corruption kills professionalism and love for country. It makes one lose focus on the real deal. I pray Nigeria learns. Sajuluchuku with that question there. We've got lots of comments here. Sandra, you are spot on. The 3 R's on play, 3 C's actually. He says in Nigeria, the same will apply to Boko Haram in the north and Biafra and Oduduwa in the south. Majority in these regions have sympathy for the various groups, so total victory cannot be achieved. The Nigerian defense apparatus is made up of these 3 or more regions. Solution is dialogue, dialogue, and dialogue. Engineer Dimba C. Engineer Dimba, thank you so much for your message. Tobe from Moe says, how about some members of the Taliban being soldiers in the Afghan army? Just my thoughts. Tobe, that's something that some of the analysts have said as well. Some of them suspect that some of the Taliban infiltrated the Afghan army. Because we also have to remember, that the Taliban was in power in Afghanistan before the US invaded. Maybe we know. Maybe we remember. It's not as if Afghanistan was functional and America went in there and destroyed it. That's not what happened here. It's not as if, Afghanistan was, this utopia, and then, America went and changed it around. Afghanistan was under Taliban rule after over a decade of civil war and a prior decade of fighting the USSR. So if anything, the US invasion was a 20-year break. And now Afghanistan is returning to status quo. Also, the Afghan people did not invite the US. The US went in to get Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda, who were guests of the Taliban and who planned the 9/11 attacks from there. And it's also not true that America has not won any wars. America has won a lot of wars abroad, They won the World Wars 1 and 2. They won the Spanish-American War. They won the Gulf War. They win war, no worry. But let me tell you that this part of the show is brought to you by UNICAF. UNICAF is, of course, the leading global education provider, online education provider. Let me say it like that before you start, because once you hear education provider, you're like, oh, visa, let me go abroad. This one you don't need visa, not even visa on arrival. You can do it from the comfort of your house. And they are the leading online higher education provider. And we're going to talk about the unique opportunities that they are going to provide through their scholarship after we come back from this break. So don't go away, Lagos.
I want to study for an internationally recognized MBA degree that would help me boost my career, but I can't leave my family and my job.
At UNICAF, we are here to inspire and help you make an impact as you thrive for success. Grab this opportunity and study for an internationally recognized online MBA degree with up to 80% UNICAF scholarship. Pay in small monthly installments and have the flexibility to study at your pace. Limited spaces are now available with the University of East London and the University of Suffolk. Call us on 07000 111 000. That is 07000 111 000 to help you jumpstart today. With UNICAF, you can.
Now, thankfully, UNICAF is a global education organization based in Europe. So what's happening in Afghanistan isn't affecting them. And the schools that they're providing for you to get a higher degree from are all in Europe. But let's stay in Afghanistan for our third story, right? Now, we're looking at the American withdrawal itself. Kevin, when he called, talked about President Joe Biden's speech. And he's getting a lot of criticism for how he announced it and for the actual operation. I'm sure you've seen some of the heartbreaking videos and pictures by now. You've seen all the Afghan citizens who have been working with the Americans for years, and now they are scared that if the Americans leave without them, the Taliban will target them. So you have hundreds of them, along with other Afghans, crowding U.S. facilities in Kabul. I'm showing you a video right now of people trying to get on a plane. Some of them are hanging onto the plane as the plane takes off. You can see some of them fall off the plane when the plane gets in the air and fall to their death. A lot of desperation going on. If you're also watching, you see some women who are outside of U.S. bases in Kabul, giving their children, basically throwing their children up to the soldiers over barbed wire. I mean, imagine the desperation that will push a mother to hand her child to soldiers, strangers, and just on the hope that they will be okay, because you have no idea one way or the other what's going to happen to your child, but you just want to get your child safe one way or the other, right? And all of these people are just trying to make it out. These people are just trying to make it out. Lots of older Americans are saying that it's reminding them of the fall of Saigon at the end of the Vietnam War. Back then, you also had iconic images of crowds rushing for the last helicopter from the U.S. Embassy. Did Kabul have to end up like Saigon, or did the Biden administration fail to take the proper steps for an orderly withdrawal? Because Joe Biden says that there was no alternative. He says that no matter when and how the U.S. chose to pull out, the situation was bound to be as chaotic as this. And I wonder whether you agree. So, for example, let's say that America gave itself a 10-month timeline for this withdrawal. And then let's say that they spent the first 3 months taking a serious headcount for all the core supporters and collaborators that would need to be evacuated. And then let's say that they spent the next 3 months planning the logistics of the evacuation. And then let's say that they spent the next 4 months actually executing the evacuation, airlifting these loyalists out in batches. I don't know, if they had done it that way, would that woman have needed to drop her baby with soldiers? If you're watching on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3, you're seeing what I'm talking about. YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. People who oppose Biden say no. People who support Biden say yes. His supporters point out that the Republicans are against mass asylum for Afghan allies. They're accusing the Republicans of hypocrisy and crocodile tears since they don't really want these Afghans to come. They're also saying that no matter how many thousands of Afghans they evacuate, there will still be tens of thousands of other Afghans who never worked for the Americans, but who simply want to leave the country because who want to live under Taliban. I was listening to Sisi Oge on Ireti Bakari Yusuf, on Danfo Conversations, and a particular man called in and said, "Oh, the Taliban's are a way of life, one thing," and then this lady called in and says, "If you like the Taliban so much, why don't you relocate to Afghanistan and go and live under Taliban rule?" I was cackling in my car because I was driving to work at that time. But these are the arguments. The argument here is that America could never have evacuated everybody who wants to leave. And my question to you, Lagos, is, did America handle the pullout responsibly? It's difficult to not laugh every time I say pullout. 0700-993-993-993, 01465-7190. We're still going to tell you about our sponsors, UNICAF. They are the leading online higher education provider, and they will tell you more about themselves when we speak with them. But let's talk to Benjamin very quickly. Benjamin is in Ikorodu. Hi, Benjamin.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Welcome. Go ahead.
Okay. The Taliban were in power before the U.S. came in.
Right.
So people were surviving under the Taliban rule. So what the U.S. did not do right was just because they wanted to get Osama bin Laden by all means.
Right.
That was why they invaded the Taliban government then. So right now they have no other business there anymore. They have no business there anymore. What they should do, what people should do, or international community should do, is to get other countries involved, not particularly U.S.
Okay.
Yes, and that way lives will be saved, and then the whole panic will not be as bad as this.
Okay.
It's just that the other countries are not saying anything.
Well, everybody's saying something, but nobody is talking about going in there to go on.
Well,
Turkey is that's actually not true. Turkey is talking about going into Kabul to go and protect the airport. But no one is really talking about, going in there because it's a lot. It's a lot to take on. It's a big project to take on. Thank you for calling, Benjamin. We appreciate it. 99.3, hello.
Yeah, hello, President Sandra.
Good to have you on the show. What's your name?
Yeah, Baba G, calling from Badagry area.
Welcome.
Let me talk about the Taliban first. Honestly, I will do a kind of search what they really want, whether Afghanistan, Taliban, who is the first in Afghanistan. That is what I want to know. And I want to appreciate you, your explanation. You clear it that America has won many wars. When I listen to the caller, my mind, I say the Gulf War. But at the end of the day, thank you very much for your good job. Let me respond to the CCC, collusion, coercion, and corruption. And I liken it to that of Nigeria, RRR. Reconstruction, rehabilitation, and a restitution. And if you look at what is happening in Nigeria today, you will understand that corruption is a norm. And corruption will overshadow everything. I'm just scared, if you ask me, where I am now. And let me say this. Those who don't like American, I always tell people that American, for now, is still number one, China number two. And if you don't like American, just go all around the world. If you see American company, China company, work in any one of them. Your salary, tell the world your salary from American and China. At the end of the day, will not appreciate American. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. What a way to put it. Look at the money. I'm glad there's no corruption with UNICAF, though, but there's opportunity to get scholarships. Am I right?
Yeah, there's an opportunity to get UNICAF scholarship. And like you said, UNICAF is an educational organization. It is based in Europe, but operates globally. So UNICAF lets people in Nigeria and other countries get degrees from its partner universities in the UK and the US. So you get to study online. You don't have to get any visa. And at the end, you get the exact same degree as students on campus in those countries. Plus, UNICAF offers scholarships to eligible candidates. So we are in partnership with university in London, that is the University of East London, University of Suffolk, Liverpool John Moores University, and our multi-campus UNICAF University in Africa. And these are all reputable institutions and with international pedigree, of course. And through UNICAF, you can get a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, or a doctoral degrees and other professional short courses. And these degrees are so many in different modern disciplines. And like I said, you're doing this course online and you get the same degree as those who are doing it on campus.
How affordable is it to get these degrees, especially the MBA? That's the one I'm most interested in.
Yeah, you can get an MBA, that is a Master's in Business Administration with the University of East London or the University of Suffolk through UNICAF. And you can get this through our 80% UNICAF scholarship if you qualify.
I like that.
Yeah, because we have limited slots available and we also have easy payment plans for other candidates who want to make part payment and pay along the lines, not willing to pay fully.
Now, if people want to get more information, how do they do that? How can they reach? How can they get across?
Okay, to find out more about the MBA scholarship, you can call 07000 111 000. That is 07000 111 000. Or send a WhatsApp message to 0816 866 4442. You talk to a UNICAF student advisor to help you make an educated decision.
Thank you so much for talking to us on the show. We'll take one call, take a break, then come to social media. 99.3, hello. Sorry about that. 99.3, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for calling. Good afternoon. What's your name?
You have Mr. Sam from Ikuru.
Good to have you on the show. Unfortunately, your line is breaking up. I don't know if there's anything we can do about that.
Okay, how is it now?
Much better. Go ahead.
All right. Now, let me start by asking a question. At what point did America move to Afghanistan? And what was the situation when they moved in there?
So Afghanistan was under Taliban rule, and they only moved in when 9/11 happened. After 9/11 happened, they wanted to go and get Osama bin Laden. Oh, unfortunately, your line is not very clear. I'm so sorry. But, Afghanistan is still ongoing, so we're definitely going to come back to this subject. But let's listen to our sponsors again. Thank you very much to UNICAF for bringing this to you. Unfortunately, that's a second jingle. I don't know what's going on with it, but I hope they put it back up so that I can play that. But yes, thank you to UNICAF for bringing today's global big three your way. They make sure, of course, that you get quality stuff on Hard Facts. On WhatsApp, Arthur says, I personally witnessed the shame that the Dubai Emirates officer laid on the Nigerian government because I went for an inquiry. But I'm not surprised. Nigerian leaders don't have shame. To be candid, other countries will soon ban Nigerians. I'm not a Nigerian after all. Okay. Arthur, thank you very much for your message. But they didn't ban us, shall we? Can still get visa to UAE. It just means we're going to be doing it the normal way instead of like somebody from Seychelles, for instance, who will just walk into UAE and get visa on arrival. Let's bring you our business news at the top of the hour. Lagos, I don't know where the time goes, and it's always when the gist is now sweet that the time disappears on you. But you can find me on social media, Sandra Ezekwesili. On Monday, we're going to talk about the resident doctor strike and the effect it's had on you who requires healthcare services. So join me for that conversation Monday at 5. We'll bring you all the stories that broke this weekend on Monday at 3 o'clock. But coming up is Public Square. After that, Music and Moments. After that, Game On, and more fantastic conversation right here on your number one talk station, Nigeria Info.
And now the business news.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info.